Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota, Locked On Podcast Network. We got a great show today. Merry Christmas to everybody. But the Minnesota Vikings, that was the big topic all week on all of our shows, on the round table, on the Ron Johnson Show, and they had a chance to win in the end. He didn't do it. So we'll talk about Nick Mullins. Justin Jefferson has some really interesting comments that he made after the game about Kirk Cousins. Does this mean that Kirk Cousins is more likely to come back now? We'll talk about that coming up next.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Well, hey, everybody. Hope you had a great Christmas. I know for Vikings fans... Sorry, the Minnesota Vikings did not win. Unfortunately, the Vikings fall in a game that they should have won to the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are NFC North champs. We originally had planned on Lomas Brown, former Detroit Lion, friend of my dad's, lived in the same neighborhood. But holiday travels, we get it. So we're going to have to get him back on sometime this year because the Lions are the topic to talk about now. But we got to talk about Justin Jefferson. And the Minnesota Vikings with Kirk Cousins. But before we do that, I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets. That's $150 if you have a winning bet. That's just a $5 winning money line bet. That's $150, people. I did it. It's easy. You just find the easy one. It's not a needle in the haystack. There's some easy ones out there, but all you have to do is make a $5 bet and win, and you get an additional $150 of FanDuel's money, but your team has to win. Just remember that. That's it. Your team has to win. Make sure you visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Well, as I mentioned in the show, I bring my producer to the show, Sam Ekstrom. I mentioned we're going to talk about Kirk Cousins. We got to talk about this Lions game. But first, Sam, I want to start off Merry Christmas. Really quick, was there anything cool that you got for Christmas that you enjoyed?
I got a really nice piece of luggage from my wife that I'm really excited to get in the airport. I call it a garment bag. Really good for packing. Really excited about that. I've got a flight coming up on Friday, so I'm going to use that. But Merry Christmas to you as well. I got to hear if you got anything sweet.
Well, I mean, of course, I'm wearing a sweater. My wife gave me this Christmas sweater. It's Ray Charles. My daughter, at first, when she saw it, my wife said, she was like, oh, that's not nice. But it says, in case you don't see me. And then there's Ray Charles. Have a Merry Christmas. I also got myself these. Now, these are hard to get, Sam, Michael Jordan shoes. And I was able to get a pair of the golf shoes. So this is the golf version of the Michael Jordan shoe. Very hard to get, so I was glad to get those. I get to break those out when I get down to Mexico. Probably sooner than expected with this Vikings game, Sam. And when you look, I also got this that I've been annoying the crap out of my family with. It's a very small, you see my hand size. It's a very small Bluetooth, but Gophers Bluetooth speaker. It's kind of cool. You get two of them. You can turn it into dual speakers. So my wife doesn't know that. She didn't read the package when she got it for me. So I'm going to get her one and make it a dual one. And then I'm just going to keep both. Like, that's how you do it, Sam. You get them a gift and then you make sure you can use it. So I'm going to get her one. We also got a refrigerator. I think I've told you guys that story. Refrigerator conked out a week before Christmas, and we're hosting Christmas here. Yeah. So we that was kind of a gift to our family. Was a brand new refrigerator. But they installed it. It works great. The ice comes out fast. So it's been good to have. But yeah, no, I got this Bluetooth speaker, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna play it a little bit today during the Gopher game. I know the Gophers are playing today. We'll talk about that a little bit. We got the Daily 3 coming up. We'll talk a little bit in the second segment about a little Gophers and just sports around the world, what the playoff picture looks like. We got the Wolves and Pelicans in the Daily 3. Of course, the Wolves, and we'll talk about the disrespect. There's some disrespect going on with the Wolves that I'm not happy with, Sam, and the national media continues to do that. You got DJ Wanham, who might be out for the season. You got TJ Hawkinson that might be out for the season. So there's a lot of injuries that happen. it almost feels like it's time to pack up and go home. And then Brock Purdy. We got to talk about that game last night. So many people were on Cam Newton, so I got a little bit of that. We're going to have to put that on socials because I got a little word for those haters of Cam Newton out there. But Sam, the topic, top of the subject, Minnesota Vikings lose to the Detroit Lions. The last play of the game, everybody, and I know you saw that. I think Luke Braun retweeted somebody. I saw it in real time just because we have the little film thing. And, you know, in the media thing, they have a bunch of replays for us versus if you're at the game. And so as we're watching that, you kind of see the Brandon Powell not only wide open, but should have been in his read, because when he's looking down the field, clearly the Lions are trying to stop the big play because they're in cover 3 or some type of maybe 4. I haven't seen the whole. I'm gonna watch that today, maybe, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It's Christmas, day after Christmas. I'm not watching film, but I do got to work today though too, Sam, because I got this show, and then I got to go to the Minnesota Vikings. I just got the text saying that, you know what, Tuesday is on. The coaches are going to come in. So looks like the Vikings are going to keep going, even though for us it feels like a holiday. The Vikings are like, look, we still got to play the Packers. We still got to try to beat the Packers on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. We still got to try to beat the Lions again because we almost beat them, but now you're shorthanded big time going to play the Lions again. But we still got to get some work done, Sam. So when you think about this, Sam, when you look at this game and the way it played out, he should have hit Brandon Powell. Brandon Powell catches that. There's nobody within probably 10 yards of him. He could have jitterbugged run. Now, again, we know Brandon Powell doesn't always make the best decisions, but we hope he would have. Maybe he jitterbugs it, gets upfield, and goes out of bounds. It's only first down. It was like 44 seconds or something like that left, 50, 44, 45 seconds. So he had time that Brandon Powell could have made. Even if Brandon Powell does a dumb decision to try to score and stays in bounds, they could have run up and spiked it.
Yep.
But if Brandon Powell makes the catch, because he's thinking smart, this is the end of the game, he catches it, gets upfield, gets out of bounds. Now you're probably at the 15. Now that field shrinks. Now the Lions can't play prevent. They have to play a true defense for a true red zone look. You have a healthy Justin Jefferson. We know TJ Hockenson was out at this point, but you got a healthy Justin Jefferson. And you got, well, who cares about everybody else? You got Justin Jefferson. If you got a healthy Justin Jefferson, 15 yards, you go there. But Sam, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know a lot of people were like harping on the last play of the game. I think that's his 4th interception in that game. Josh Dobbs was his 4th interception. In the next game, he was on a quick trigger hot seat kind of. How does Kevin O'Connell treat this 4 interception game? But what are your thoughts on it right away?
Yeah, that felt like a heat check throw. If you remember two plays before, I think he hit Jefferson on a Hail Mary, basically. Mm-hmm. Jefferson comes down with it. He's clearly trying to give his guy a chance, which he was all day, to his credit, and Jefferson made a lot of the plays. But, Ron, it was first down. It was first down, and Nick Mullins has shown us that he doesn't really have any regard for the down and distance or the situation. He just wants to be aggressive. Right. And I applaud him for that. But you got to be smart. There was a minute left in the game. You were at the 30-yard line. You had plenty of time. There was no need to be reckless with that throw. And what happened with the spiral, too? That was crazy. It like came out of his hand sideways. Just not the right time to make that kind of throw. I would have much rather, like you said, worked it underneath, gotten in the red zone, and then had 4 plays, to score a touchdown from closer distance. I don't think they needed to make it all up in one shot. So it's a disappointing way to end it when it felt like destiny was kind of on your side after the Jefferson catch. That was going to be an epic play that they would have replayed all day on NFL Network, but instead it's an afterthought because of what happened afterward.
Because here's the thing, Sam. Not only was that probably wasn't the bad read. Here's the thing. Because it did look like they were some type of 4. I'm almost talking myself into getting on my computer tonight. I'm trying not to work, but I'm almost talking myself into it, Sam, of just getting on there because I think the Vikings have to load because they play the Packers, so they have to load it up. It might be loaded up now, but I'm guessing they all get in the office this morning because they took Monday off. I think Tuesday's normally their walkthrough they've been doing lately during these holiday type deals. So if Tuesday's their walkthrough, just to see how they're feeling, get guys moving, maybe to give them a more true Saturday off. Cause I think that's what they did last week too. They give them a true Saturday off. Like, hey, we're going to walk through Tuesday. I know that was last week's schedule. Walk through Tuesday, jog through on Wednesday, practice Thursday, practice Friday, Saturday, you're off. Holiday wise, maybe he does it again because honestly, they didn't play bad. When you look at that throw, Sam, It was the right read because it looked like both corners and cover 4, whatever they're going to get. I have to watch. It could be match 2, could be 2-man with a bracket over for Justin Jefferson because there was a lot of people in there. But Justin Jefferson, if he throws, I have a feeling, and I'm going to have to watch it. If he throws it to the corner of the end zone and floats it, and Justin sees he's going to throw it that way as Justin's running, he makes a throw. Or if he throws it harder and actually throws a spiral, maybe Justin Jefferson catches it. There's a lot of options there. But again, like you said, it was a duck. It was not a great throw. It did not have any velocity on it. It looked bad. And so when you think about that, when you think about his lack of arm strength, numerous deep balls in this game, numerous deep balls. He should have 5 interceptions. The crossbody throw where he should, if Josh Dobbs is in, he probably runs it for a touchdown. The crossbody throw almost was a pick. He threw it behind Johnny Munt. That the throw wasn't bad. Or sorry, the decision wasn't bad if he throws it to Johnny Munt. Throw it to Johnny Munt's right. He throws it back inside because he doesn't have the body control that he thinks he has. And or the arm strength that he thinks he has, like a Brett Favre, like an Aaron Rodgers, like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, like a Lamar Jackson, like a Brock Purdy. I mean, I can go down the list, like a Kirk Cousins. He doesn't have that. And so what does the ball do? It flutters and it goes back inside. It's almost picked off. Thank goodness the DB for the Detroit Lions is a DB and not a receiver. If there's a receiver, or if it's Marcus Peters, or if it's anybody for the Raiders that had a pick 6, or for the Ravens, it's a pick 6 because there's nobody that's going to catch that guy. There was nobody over there. All the receivers and the fast guys were in the end zone. All the slow guys were to the quarterback's far left. It would have been just the quarterback and the DB running full speed towards him. Nick Mullins does not make that tackle. It's a pick 6. The crowd is pissed off. And that would have been, at that time, it would have been like interception 2 or 3. I don't know. So butterfly effect. Who knows what happens from there? Maybe the game gets out of control, but he did it. He made that throw, and that was bad. So there was a lot of throws like that, Sam, that I just felt like he doesn't have the deep ball accuracy. Like KJ Osborne's play, great play by KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne came back to the ball. That was KJ Osborne's play. That was not the throw of Nick. Nick Mullins threw an underthrow. If he throws it long, like Kirk Cousins has done on that same play, because Jordan Addison had that play. We saw KJ Osborne against the Pittsburgh Steelers last year have a similar play like that. He ran a corner, though, instead of a post. Kirk Cousins leads him to the touchdown. He underthrew him. KJ Osborne has to slow down, jump, make a great play, and he does it, and he comes down with it. That could have been a touchdown, though. The triple reverse flea flicker, if he throws it to the end zone, it's a touchdown to Johnny Munt. Yes. He ends up throwing it like right to him. But like throw it, lead him. He's a tight end running with a linebacker chasing him at a bad angle. His back is to you. Know your situation, know your personnel. Just throw it to the end zone on a loop. Let Johnny Munt keep running full speed to it. It's a touchdown. And that's what I don't understand about it. I mean, honestly, my guy Ray Charles would have saw that. Ray Charles would have been like, what do we have, coach? Flea flicker, reverse, flea flicker? Oh, okay. I know exactly where I'm throwing this. And then you just got to have somebody in the corner in his zone, like he practiced a couple times. I don't know if you ever saw, though. Ray Charles did have a video playing basketball. I felt very bad because I'm like, why would y'all set him up like that? But, you know, they bang something so that he knows which direction to shoot. And I think if he could shoot, he probably because I've seen a blind kid before make a shot. I saw it on like social media, and the high school did that where they put a kid in the game who was visually impaired, and then they were trying to let him know where the rim was. Boom, kid makes the shot. Everybody goes crazy. Ray Charles, he can't play basketball. So I think if he learns basketball first, then he probably says, but his shot looked pretty much like that dude. I only saw that dude on the Dr. Pepper thing. He tries to dribble and make the shot, and he's just horrible from like the Army or something. So it was pretty bad. I imagine it's what Luke Braun would look like shooting a basketball.
Oh, shots fired.
But no, I love Luke Braun on a Christmas day after Christmas. But Sam, before we get to the next segment, we didn't touch on this part of the game really quick.
Yeah.
Not quick, but minute or two. Just Kirk, because Justin Jefferson, I want to pay off the tease because I know I didn't want to. Justin Jefferson's comments after the game, I don't know if you heard it. He said, in this league, this is why that position is so hard to play. In this league, that's why you miss a guy like Kirk Cousins. Then he followed it up with no disrespect to Nick. He's doing all he can. He's doing the best he can. We're working hard out there. He's a good quarterback. We're just going to have to keep working and getting on timing and getting on the same page. So clearly one, like that's like slapping somebody in the face 2 or 3 times and be like, sorry.
Buddy, man.
Right. Like, I didn't mean to slap you, but since I did, let me tell you why. Like, you were in the way. I was actually trying to reach for something. Like, yeah, like he said, no disrespect to Nick Mullins. When people have to say no disrespect, it's a little bit of disrespect in there. And so the point Justin Jefferson's making, one, he's dead on. Kirk Cousins, now you guys see what he is and what he does. 2, this job is not easy. That's why there's only 32 of them. And of the 32, that's why about 20 of them sometimes everybody's like, whoa, he's good. And then the other 12, they're like, whoa, this guy sucks. Who's going to draft this guy? Who's going to draft somebody for this guy? Justin Fields, in my opinion, with the 49ers, goes nuts. Absolutely nuts with the 49ers. Like Justin Fields' running ability, his arm strength, his ability to move, like, nuts. You know who's kicking themselves about not getting Jalen Hurts? The 49ers. Because I know they're probably like, oh my goodness, could you imagine his running ability with Christian McCaffrey's running ability, with Trent Williams, with Deebo Samuel? Why? Because he took his team to the Super Bowl. So you can't tell me he could have taken the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Justin Fields could have took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. I'm going to be real. Justin Fields could have took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. Clip that. Let's put that on social media. Justin Fields, behind center of the 49ers, replacing Brock Purdy. He takes the 49ers to the Super Bowl. And so that's why this league is so hard. And so Justin Jefferson making that comment, Sam, does this now all but point to they have to re-sign Kirk Cousins?
I mean, I think the case is strengthening, right? Because if your best player, face of your organization right now, is saying that, you can't have a half measure in addressing the quarterback situation. You can't have a bridge quarterback. You can't draft someone in the 3rd round and try to make it work. I mean, it's either got to be Kirk or it's got to be a high draft pick, someone that you can really rely upon. And even that's a risky proposition. Justin Jefferson wants some assurances. I mean, this is potentially, Ron, 3 of 4 years where Justin Jefferson does not make the playoffs. Can't happen. He hasn't won a playoff game in his NFL career. Pretty soon, he's going to get impatient about that. He's already impatient about that. So you got to give the man what he wants, because that's someone you got to keep happy. And frankly, I'm on his team. I mean, I for the longest time was off the Kirk bandwagon. Mm-hmm. And now people are talking about 2 years, $60 million for Kirk to get him back. That's a bargain. That's a bargain in today's NFL. So I'm with him. I'm right with Justin.
And people are saying too, like his rehab, and of course it's just people. But we have seen him. I saw him walking around. I saw him at the stadium. He's walking pretty normal. Like, it's not super fast, but it's not like, like like he's walking. Honestly, he's walking like Aaron Rodgers. He's just not out there telling people he's ready to play in 4 weeks. Like, I think that's the big difference. Aaron Rodgers, I think, was a circus. It was a media circus. He wanted to keep himself relevant. He wanted to keep the Jets in the media. They wanted to keep the Jets fans excited and follow. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was some kind of like stipulation to his contract about seats sold, probably tickets, some Deion Sanders type of contract stuff, because he's still sticking around trying to keep them. Like, remember when he got hurt for the Packers and his collarbone got broken? You didn't see him. There was nothing about Aaron Rodgers potentially ever coming back to the Packers. Mm-hmm. It was no like Aaron Rodgers at the games, hyping him up from the sideline, wearing a headset. He was just out. So I feel like this is a little bit too of a media thing to keep the Jets involved in the media. For Woody Johnson to be like, hey man, how can you keep us relevant in the national media talk? Oh, well, let's just keep saying you're coming back. Let's have you show up and do stuff. Like, he got more coverage, and we'll talk about this in the Daily 3. He got more coverage, or they're getting more coverage as the Jets than the Timberwolves. And the Timberwolves are the number 1 team in the NBA. Number 1 team in the NBA. First time in team history they've been number 1 this late into the season, which was December 25th, 26th now. But as of December 25th, the longest they've been, the longest they've been number 1. This is the team history. They're making history every turn. Like, it's going to be the longest they've been number 1 after New Year's. It's going to be the longest they've been number 1 after Valentine's Day. Like, it's going to be team history. But the Jets, they're more important to talk about. They're like, everybody wants to talk about the Jets. Why? They suck. Why are we talking about them? Nothing against them. If Aaron Rodgers is there, they're probably good, but they're not good. So why are we talking about them every day? Why are we talking about the Lakers? The Lakers are like the 10th seed. Yes, they won the NCAA tournament, but why are we talking about them? It's not about the Wolves right now, so I'm going to hold off until the Daily 3 because I'm a little bit upset. Kind of gave y'all alluded to what's going to happen in the Daily 3. But in the next segment, though, we got to talk a little bit about Gophers. Gophers play today, first Bowling Green. We'll talk a little bit about that, about the headline. I don't know if you saw the headline, Sam, on the Dish headline of how they're promoting this game. We'll talk about that and your thoughts on this one. But lastly, my thoughts, Sam, I totally agree. $60 million to Kirk Cousins is a bargain. He has to play because you clearly see what he is without Kirk Cousins. And you cannot keep him happy if you're like, hey, man, we're gonna, because you got to tell Justin, you cannot surprise Justin with what's gonna happen, because then you're gonna, and this is the thing. I don't think Stephon Diggs is anything bad. I don't think, like, a lot, AJ Brown, like a lot of receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, it just gets annoying after a while. And it's like, dude, can you, Devontae Adams, like, can you tell me what's going on? This is my future too. And I think if Justin Jefferson's not in on what's going to happen, and it just happens, kind of like Aaron Rodgers when they got rid of his offense coordinator, like, everybody has a breaking point. Because, like, look, we're grown men. Like, why are you trying to secretly sign me and then cut my quarterback? Let me know what you're going to do, or not resign my quarterback. But they're saying all signs point to Kirk Cousins coming back by minicamp now, because the way he's walking around, the way he's moving. Hey, and when I saw him, he's moving like Aaron Rodgers. He's just not a media circus. He doesn't want everybody to be talking about him and be, oh, the Vikings making the Super Bowl, man, I might be able to play. Like, he's not going to do that. Aaron Rodgers probably would do that. Kirk Cousins is not that guy. He didn't even tell people or blow it up that he was going to be holding a boombox for the team. Like, he didn't even do that. I thought he should have done more. If I'm him, I'm walking out with the whole team with the boombox when they first get the defense out, and then he stands in the tunnel with the boombox for every player, like in the front of it, not just Justin Jefferson. Like, and then Justin Gritty's right by him with the music play. Oh, come on, man! Like, I just hire me to do your marketing. But that would have been good for the fans to see Kirk Cousins, the crowd to show him, take your shirt off, put some chains on, and then hold the boombox. Like, really Kirk it up. Kirko chains it up. It's all over the media today if Kirk does that, win or lose. But they probably win because they were going to win anyway. I think the Vikings, were going to win anyway. Nick Mullins just did his best Grinch impression and said, screw Christmas. You can take these presents. I don't want to give them to the Vikings. You take this. You take this. And he just threw all the presents. And just imagine the Lions with that little dog, the Grinch's little dog that was helping him out, robbing the Who's. And Nick Mullins did not want to help out Whoville, better known as Minnesota football. But I'm Ron Johnson at Sam Ekstrom. Coming up next, again, we're going to talk a little bit about Gophers football, maybe hit on a little Kirk Cousins a little bit more, maybe some Timberwolves, and then we're going to jump into the Daily 3 after that, but we have a word from our sponsors.
All right, here's the deal right now at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. You can make a $5 money line bet, and you can get $150 of bonus bets straight to your account. So today, if you want to put $5 on the Gophers money line, -156, they're favored by 3.5 against Bowling Green. You can bet 5, and then you get $150, and you've still got 2 weeks of the regular season left in the NFL to put that on. Then you've got the NFL postseason. You've got the NBA. You can bet the Wolves every game if you want. You can do all of that at FanDuel with hundreds of ways to wager, the spreads, the player props, the future bets. I've got my money on Timberwolves Dolphins championship parlay. I'm going to manifest that into happening. That's all at FanDuel right now. Download the easy-to-use FanDuel Sportsbook app and get in on the fun. FanDuel, an official partner of the National Football League.
Well, Sam, first, I got to do this. So I'm going to read this off the TV, Sam. I'm looking at DirecTV.
All right.
And I'm pretty sure you've seen this. I don't know if you have, but I'm looking at the DirecTV game. The Minnesota Gophers, December 26th, Tuesday. It's going to be a 3-hour and 30-minute show. So clearly TV timeouts and everything, right? Yep. You go down to the description of the game. It says on ESPN, on DirecTV, for the national media, the world, everybody's kids to see, the parents of the players. The Golden Gophers and their good grades face a test in the Quick Lane Bowl against the Falcons. Minnesota was the only. Minnesota was the only. Let me make sure I say Minnesota was the only 5-win program needed to complete the 82-team bowl lineup. The Gophers won the tiebreaker via their academic progress report. Sam, I'm reading that live from DirecTV. I know Dish had that. I know Xfinity had that. Whoever your TV partner is, if you don't have cable, then you're not getting ESPN. But yeah, that's what when they sent this in. I don't know who sent this in. I don't know if it was Quick Lane Bowl, maybe. I don't know who sent this in, but whoever sent this in to all the people who do the TV stuff, that's how they decided to talk about this game, Sam. Not, one of the best freshmen in the Big Ten in the country. Not Cole Kramer coming back for his senior year from Arizona to play in his final, walking off the field. They don't even say anything about Bowling Green. Like, that's how crazy this is. Bowling Green. And who's the favorite, Sam? They have the Gophers favorite?
Gophers by 3.5.
Gophers by 3.5. So Bowling Green, I would feel like it's a double slap in the face. We made the bowl because we won, and we're here. So why not talk about our quarterback, our team, our staff, whatever? So-and-so and so-and-so face, PJ Fleck faces off against whatever his name is. I haven't even researched it yet because we're not doing anything till later. I kind of airmailed the Bowling Green bit. I do know a ton about the Gophers though, but my Bowling Green knowledge is small because I don't have any radio hits or anything until later. So I'm going to cram just like anybody doing a final. I'm going to cram for about an hour and a half and just cram down some stats, watch some quick film. But when you look at Bowling Green, Sam, they don't talk about anything. They don't talk about their team. I mean, even their former players, because I know, when you look at a guy I play with, what was his name? Josh. I forgot his last name, but he was a quarterback for Bowling Green. He's in the Hall of Fame for them. He came and played for us with the Ravens. But Josh is one of the guys that was a big time quarterback there. You could have talked about him. You could have talked about Josh Harris. Sorry, that was his name. Josh Harris. Had to go to my Facebook page. Good old Facebook. He's my Facebook friend. We talk all the time. At least on social media. But he was my teammate with the Ravens for a year. They don't talk about it. I mean, they could talk about anything. They could talk about the past. They could talk about the last time the Gophers were at the Quick Lane Bowl. Like, the last time PJ Fleck showed up here, Tyler Johnson had the big catch in Detroit, and nothing.
The last time they played Bowling Green, right? Bowling Green beat them at TCF Bank.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago, yeah.
Could be. Yep, this is PJ Fleck's rematch. Does Bowling Green have a shot because they beat PJ in Minnesota last time? They're familiar with the Gophers. It's going to be a great game to watch, people. No. You are trying to entice people that are scrolling through football that don't know anything about the sport by saying the Gophers and their good grades faced a test in the Quick Lane Bowl. The Gophers won the tiebreaker via their academic progress rate. That feels petty to me, Sam. I don't know. That feels petty to me. That feels like somebody's not happy the Gophers are in it. Whoever wrote that up. Very petty. I don't know. But that to me is just a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face. I hope these players and their good grades go out there and absolutely mud walk Bowling Green and maybe pull out the reports. Like at the end of the game, I know I've been seeing a lot of post-game celebrations. Don't do like Eastern Michigan. I don't know if you saw that one. Eastern Michigan do after the game. They play like South Alabama, ran across and punched the dude while Alabama was doing their like rouser because the game was over. I don't know if they won or lost. I don't even know what happened. I just saw the video of the kid like left the field, still pissed off enough as he's leaving the field to run back onto the field and sucker punch the guy in the back of the head. And then it turns into a big brawl. Both teams are fighting. Both teams are pissed. Like, don't do that. Don't get into fights. But you can, like, I think Western Kentucky threw the bread up in the air and they were doing the bread angels because it was must have been a bread sponsor for that bowl game. Quick Lane, there's nothing to throw up in the air, so throw your progress reports up in there. Throw grades up in there. Throw A's and B's up in the air. That's what they should do. And they should do a final grade snow angel in Detroit. Throw your A's and B's up there. Some of y'all got C's, don't lie. So throw those up too. But yeah, throw them up. Throw your A's and B's in the air. Like Justin Jefferson said, when he does the gritty, he throws his B's up. So, hey, gritty, throw the B's up. They should just, you know what? There they go. All B's. just like the gritty, do the gritty across the B's, but then it's because your progress report and put them all across the field with some pluses by it. Hey, but yeah, that to me, Sam, for that to be a headline, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, someone's trying to be a little too cute. Let's talk about the football. You know, there's other storylines that, like, let's be adults about this, right? These are football players, talented athletes. It's a side note. Certainly can mention it during the game, but I think you can do a better job of writing your descriptions. Did you get a photo of that? Can we put that on social media?
I'm gonna put a photo. I'm gonna get a photo of it after this. Hopefully nobody goes in and edits it, because I saw people talking about it, but I wasn't sure how many different, because it didn't look like what I had. So I'm like, okay, I don't have that brand. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was like Dish or something. I don't know what it was, but I'm like, that doesn't look like my TV guide. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to get involved in this until I see it myself. And so I saw it myself finally, because I've had time to sit down between, Christmas Eve of the Vikings. Like, I haven't been in front of a TV until today, as far as like just being able to sit by myself and turn on a TV. So yeah, it's been crazy, Sam. Like, I cannot believe that. But yeah, it is up there. I'm going to make sure I tweet it out, tag you, I'll tag Locked On Sports Minnesota, makes for our show. And then also maybe we play that video. Just play the video of me reading the description, maybe some quick notes of us talking about it. That's a good one for socials, just before the Gophers game. But yeah, it's amazing to me, Sam, how they treated the Gophers in that moment. But it is what it is. They got to go out and play the game. Real quick before we get to, because we got the Daily 3 coming up. That's 3 questions, 3 minutes each. The Gophers in this game, what does PJ Fleck have to do? Because again, his recruiting class now in the Big Ten is like 11th. But as far as like from a growth perspective, because he's about growing the program and not like building it off of transfers, because if kids are willing to transfer in a ton, they're willing to transfer out a ton. And if you're a coach showing that you're willing to just go into the portal a ton, it's going to be tough to recruit kids. And maybe that's why Coy Parrish, I think is how you say it, or Perisic, that's why he stayed. He was almost going to go to Ohio State, almost going to go last minute out of there. And then, hey, he stayed. One, he probably realized, like, look, there's a lot of the top kids in Minnesota that go to these big schools and they never play. I'm not going to name names, but there are some big time kids that have gone to other schools and then they don't play. And they were like the number one kid in Minnesota. And instead of going to Minnesota, or even, like, here's the thing, I'm never going to hate on like Iowa even. Like, Iowa, I get it. Wisconsin, even sometimes, I get it, because you're probably going to play there. But like Ohio State, like the way they recruit now, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, if they come knocking, I just don't know if it's worth it, because they're going to do that every year. They're going to go out and get a 5-star from other states every year. PJ Fleck signed the number one player in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then one other state. I want to say like North Dakota or South Dakota. The fact that he went out and got the number one players out of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Sam, and then you got this bowl game. What is it going to take in this bowl game for people to really see, okay, he's going to turn around? Because again, Ethan Kaliman's one is a guy, this Max Brosner kid, up for the FCS Heisman. Seems to, everybody seems to think he can be the guy. Even a lot of people text me like, man, how'd y'all get him? So clearly he's, in their eyes, a good quarterback. But what does PJ Fleck need to do in this game to solidify not only his recruiting class, but also just the kids that are here, to make sure they know the next couple of years he's serious about this?
Yeah, I think it's a piece of it today. I don't think it's the whole equation. I think that it's a nice feather in PJ's cap to be able to say, I've never lost a bowl game, because he hasn't. He's 4-0, could be 5-0 today. That's a nice recruiting tool to say, hey, if you play for me, you have a great chance to walk off the field a bowl game winner. That's not everything, but it's something. I think, again, the ability to put yourself out there on a bigger platform, an opportunity to talk about NIL, to build your donation base is critical. That's everything right now. It's no longer just culture or just football or just facilities. It's okay, that, and here's my offer. To you financially for what we can give you. So any opportunity you have to build that financial base is going to help your recruitment. Unfortunately, that's the way it is now. I don't love it, but I think PJ Fleck knows that the landscape is changing rapidly. The Big Ten is going to get way more competitive, and the Gophers will fall behind fast if he's not ahead of the curve. So any chance to join Dinkytown athletes, they got to take it, and that includes winning a bowl game.
Yeah, because when you look at some of these collectives And then some of the numbers people are throwing out. The one thing that people don't understand too about this, the collectives also are just taking money from companies that want players. So it's not all about, hey, we got to raise all this money and we just got to pay out of our pocket. No, a part of it too is name, image, likeness. The whole purpose of name, image, likeness was for guys. I mean, honestly, I'm going to go back to myself when I played. I was on a billboard. I was on a bus. I don't have it in my office. It's somewhere in my house, but I was on a poster that the Gophers used for the season release. So they had all the schedule, and it was me stiff arming the dude from Ohio State my junior year. So for my senior year, they used that because that was like the national picture. Everybody talked about the Nate Clemens game and all that stuff. So of course I became like the poster child for it. I just saw a kid recruiting letter. He posted on, on Facebook. He got recruited by Minnesota like back in 2000. And the only reason I saw it was because of the girl that wrote him the letter. They used to use Gopher girls, they called them, to write letters to players saying, hey, can't wait for you to be on campus. We'll be there to host you and blah, blah, myself and your play. And it was to be a girl and then the host, which could be an athlete and then whatever. And so she wrote him a letter. So I know her. So I was like, hey, this is one of your letters from when you were a freshman in college, writing to one of the players, just, telling him you can't wait to meet him when he gets to campus. And so my picture was on the front of that. Like they used it was a couple other, it was like 3 other guys. It was like Tony Dungy. I forgot. It was like 4 different guys, Carl Eller, but it was my catch as well on that one. And so you think about all that type of stuff. eBay. I saw my jersey on eBay in 2000 and 2001 was on the eBay, or not eBay, sorry, East Bay, for those young kids that don't know what that is. It's a shoe company that went out of business, but they sold my jersey in all those places. Dinkytown had it. Like I never got any money from that. None. They got the money from that. The Gophers got the money from that. Licensing got the money from that. Nike got the money from that. I never got anything. I was in the video game, the college football video game. They used my likeness. It was a 6'3", 225-pound kid from Detroit, Michigan. Dark skin, looked just like me. I got no money from that. So that's the actual like purpose of NIL. Some of this stuff now is just pay to play. Like, hey man, we got to go buy a guy. That's where it's getting dirty to me. But the actual reasoning is like when you see Shadur Sanders in the KFC commercial, you see the 2 Georgia kids. I just saw them. They're doing Whistle Sports. And it's funny too. They can't say they're college. So NIL, you can use your name, image, and like. This was so funny about it, Sam. They can use their name, image, and likeness, but they can't use the schools. So the 2 Georgia football players for Whistle Sports did like I don't know what it was. I forgot who their sponsor was for that. Gatorade maybe. But they literally said, oh, I play linebacker in Georgia. That's what he says. He's like, I play linebacker in Georgia. And the other guy's like, yeah, I play safety in Georgia. Like not at Georgia, in Georgia. So you can say the state, but you can't say like a place, like a school or like they're very particular. So I guarantee I never paid attention to that. I guarantee like the Gophers guys that did the Gatorade don't say they play for the Gophers. They probably say I play football in Minnesota. So it's so funny that you want to get this name, image, likeness out, but then my likeness in my football uniform I can't use, but then you guys can turn around and sell my jersey, and just because it doesn't have my name on, like Darius Taylor's jersey right now is in Shields. Number 1 is the new jersey. We know it's him because there was not a number, in my opinion, I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't think there was a really good number 1 the year before him. Was it?
Can't think of one.
That's what I'm saying. So it hasn't been for a while. So the fact that they're selling the number 1 jersey in there now, and then Max Brosner comes in and blows it up, and then all of a sudden we start seeing his jersey, like these players deserve to get a piece of that. And so I don't know how that works. I don't know if like the licensing pays them. I don't know if Shields can, but their name's not on it. So maybe they're like, hey, this is not actually their jersey because their name's not on it. But we got to get to the Daily 3. We're going to make it quick today. But we got some juicy topics coming up in that, Sam. But yeah, when you think about the Dinkytown athletes, like you said, people go to Dinkytown Athletes. You can get an easy subscription. All the money goes to the athletes. They're trying to pay the players that want to get paid. If you wanted to go directly to a player, you can actually tell them, hey, I want my subscription to go to X, or I want my subscription to go to Y. You can name a player. If you have a company and you want to do something, an event or a signing or a commercial or social media, because that's where it's headed, you can do that with a player through Dinkytown Athletes. But make sure you guys do that. In my opinion, Sam, I think PJ Fleck just has to go out. If Cole Kramer kills it too, then that'll show people like, man, Cole Kramer's not better than Max Brosner. Max Brosner is going to come in with these guys because he's not everybody playing in the bowl game offensively other than Brevin Spanford. he's not losing anybody else. And Brevin this year didn't do much. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but Brevin didn't do much this year. He did get balls thrown his way, so we can't say if they weren't thrown his way, and he just wasn't getting open. He wasn't making the catches. So the guys that made the catches are coming back, which is mainly Daniel Jackson. And he did get some other guys to transfer in. So it's going to be fun to see how this team looks. But they still have Darius Taylor. They still have Jordan Newman. So it's going to be fun to see. I hope Cole Kramer really does pull off an Uncle Rico moment and just runs off into the sunset. And we didn't get snow before Christmas, but we got it after Christmas. It's snowing in Minnesota today, Sam. So I know some kids are going to be happy. Parents aren't happy, though, because nobody wants to drive in this crap. But I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. Coming up next, we got the Daily 3. That's 3 questions, 3 minutes each. And I want everybody to know, SiriusXM is a proud partner of Locked On Sports Minnesota and the Locked On Podcast Network. You can just download the SXM app on any app market. When you get on there, for you Minnesota people, search Locked On Sports Minnesota. You'll get all of our shows, all of our postcasts, everything. We got Vikings, Wild, Wolves, Twins, Gophers. We have it all, people. Make sure you guys check it out. And also on YouTube, you can get the 24/7 stream of Locked On Sports, all your sports, all the time, 24 hours a day. And of course, the postcast. We're going to have a postcast tonight after the Gophers win over Bowling Green. Who cares about their grades? It's all about the wins. All they do is win, 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 no matter what. Well, not 7 times. They won 5 times out the year. But the Gophers are going to play Bowling Green, so we'll have a postcast as well. So make sure you guys check that out on YouTube. Again, I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. And we got the Daily 3 coming up next. So take it away, Sam.
Let's talk a little NBA. 5 Christmas Day games yesterday. Wolves were not included in that. I think they'll be playing on Christmas every year going forward, but they play tonight. They play at Oklahoma City against a very good Thunder team. Thoughts on tonight's game, Ron?
If everybody's healthy and ready to go, Sam, again, when we talked last about the basketball party, I think I said 3-1, or I can't remember if we even did a prediction on that one, but I think I said 3-1.
No, we did. I think you did. I think you said 3-1, and if they win, they're 3-1. Yep. Because
they already lost the first one, and so they have to get this win. So for me, selfishly, I'm always for me looking really smart. But no, I this is the game. So I wasn't sure which game they would lose, but I did kind of say here's the 2 options they had. It was the front and the back for me. But this Thunder team, I mean, honestly, the Timberwolves, like as much as disrespect they're seeing, like just like we can see Twitter, they see Twitter. Just like they can see people making comments about like the Wolves are disrespected by the national media, they can see it too. So I know that's got to be a little bit part of it. Also, Chet Holmgren, to me, his feltness. He's not strong enough to deal with all the bigs that the Timberwolves have. Like it's just a lot of people they can throw at him. Rudy Gobert, personally, I don't think should guard him just because staying up top too long. Like he likes Chet does not like to go down low a lot. But Naz Reid is comfortable up there. Karl-Anthony Towns is comfortable up there. I honestly feel like he's not strong enough. You can just put Jaden McDaniels on him too. Like Jaden McDaniels is comfortable playing up there. So the Timberwolves, like they have an embarrassment of riches of like bigs that can guard different positions. And so I just feel like this is a game they match up well. People talked about like look at Anthony Edwards. He's on a tear. Clearly the hip pointer's wearing off now. He's good. But the amount of smart plays that Mike Conley makes, I think that's what we keep forgetting is this guy just makes smart plays, and we'll just see it again tonight. But the disrespect, that's the one thing I wanted to hit on was the disrespect. The national media continues to talk about the Lakers. They continue to talk about the New York Jets. And they're not talking about the Timberwolves. And that's what's sad. It's like you don't see them in anybody's rundown. Like, are they, even if you just want to say, are they contenders or pretenders? Do it. Are you contenders or pretenders? Do it. But they don't even do that, Sam. And that's my issue. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, for tonight, I think that the Thunder remind me a little bit of the Kings. I mean, they've got a bunch of smaller, scrappy guys. They've got their De'Aaron Fox with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Chet was totally spooked by Rudy in the paint last time. He was afraid to go inside. Wolves crushed him. This one's on the road. This one's a tougher game, but the Wolves have shown they have no fear going on the road. If they're fully healthy, if Cap plays tonight, he did miss that Kings game, I think they win. I think the Wolves are just a better team, and I think it's a bad matchup for OKC unless they get really hot shooting the ball.
DJ Wanham, what's the next one? DJ Wanham, I know he's out.
All right, yeah, we're going into a speed round here. 30 seconds on DJ Wanham. DJ Wanham, partially torn quad. He's a free agent. Is he done in Minnesota, or will he be back?
He'll be back. case in point, he'll be back. He had a great season. Brian Flores likes him. The team likes him. A quad is not the same as a knee. It's a muscle. So a muscle tear, you just have to let it rest. And so he's going to have to sit out literally all summer and then just get it back. Look how quick Justin Jefferson came back from a hamstring. Not the same thing. He didn't tear his hamstring. It just was a whatever, partial tear, pull. Tweaked it, but yeah, DJ Wonnum torn. They'll have a surgery. They'll do whatever they need to do to it. He'll be back. I think they have to re-sign him, just in good faith. But you never know. This league is dirty. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think that if it's $1 million, $2 million, I think he would be back. Yeah, I think that would be fairly cheap way to fill a need at a position where they're undermanned.
Yeah.
Last one, Brock Purdy threw a Nick Mullensy 4 INTs last night in a Monday Night Football loss, and he dropped to 4th in the MVP odds. Lamar Jackson now is the leader in MVP odds. Did Purdy lose the MVP last night with that performance?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Lamar Jackson, and I don't know if it's so much as lost it, but Lamar Jackson ran away with it. You saw his ability to run, his ability to, make that second play, because that's what a lot of people talk about. It's not the first play you got to worry about with Lamar Jackson, it's that second play, because his second play is better than a lot of people's first plays. I mean, come on now. He's ridiculous when he gets to running. He forces you to have to play man coverage and really spy him. So, yeah, Lamar Jackson showed the world he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think he not only ran away with it, but yeah, Brock Purdy definitely does not deserve MVP. I don't care what he does these next 2 games. He should not get MVP. He showed it. The Ravens didn't do anything special. He made some bad throws, some bad reads, and the Ravens, that moving around defense. And again, Vikings did the similar type of defense. That defense is tough sometimes to figure out where people are going to be when everybody's just moving around. So yeah, I think he did. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that is such a bad last impression to leave on the voters. And the fact that it was against Lamar, the guy you're competing with, and Lamar looked that good, yeah, it's over. It'd be hard for him to build upon that. And I think he got benched late in that game.
He did. Sam Darnold came in at the end. And Sam Darnold actually, I mean, the first couple plays he was but then Sam Darnold started moving the ball towards the end. So, and again, it's the end. So the Ravens are like, look, man, y'all are down 21 points. Who cares what y'all do right now? Let's just play cover 2 and get out of here healthy. But yeah, Sam Darnold had a little bit of success. They still got after him, though. They blitzed him a bunch. But yeah, no, it's crazy. Well, that'll do it for us today. I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Extra. Make sure you guys find the Locked On Sports Minnesota 24/7 YouTube live stream for your favorite Minnesota sports shows around the clock. It's Vikings, Wild, Wolves, Twins, and Gophers at all hours of the day. I'm Ron Johnson again at Sam Ekstrom. Have a great Christmas week, because this is a weird week that heads into New Year's. And all these days, to me, Sam, I don't know about you, always feel like every day is still like Christmas, because it's just random days. You don't know what clothes you should put on. You don't know what you're supposed to do. We're just waiting for the Vikings game, and then we're going to watch some football today. So enjoy the Gophers game, people, and have a great one.